He didn't see it coming. For years, Ken had been the strong one, the one people called when they were stranded, the one who picked up on the first ring, the one who always said, "Don't worry, I've got you." But that Thursday evening, sitting on the cold pavement by the roadside, shirt stained with dust, hands shaking, he realized something painful. When he finally needed help, no one was coming. His car had broken down 3 streets away. The little cash he had on him had fallen out of his pocket earlier that day. His phone battery had died after trying to call the same people he had helped over and over again. And now, as the sky slowly darkened and the street grew quieter, he sat alone with only the sound of distant traffic and his own breathing.
This is Beyond Stories, where every story carries a lesson and every lesson touches the heart. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that could inspire your next step. Now, let's go deeper into the story.
He had tried. He had called. He had sent messages earlier in the day when things started going wrong. "I'm in a tight situation. Can you help me? Can you call me back? It's urgent. Bro, I need you, please." He watched the messages tick from delivered to read. No response. These were the same people whose problems he had carried like they were his own. The same ones he had lent money to without asking when they'd pay back. The same ones he visited when they were sick, stood beside when they were crying, encouraged when they were lost. Tonight, they were online, but not available. His chest tightened, not from anger, but from a deep, quiet disappointment. He lowered his head and let out a slow breath. All his life, he had been a bridge for others to cross, and now, standing in the middle of his own storm, there was no one on his side. He tried to stand up, but his legs felt weak, so he sat back down. His whole day had been a chain reaction of bad news. That morning he had gone to meet someone who owed him money, a friend he had helped start a small business. He had counted on that repayment to buy food and sort out some small needs. But instead of repayment, he got excuses. "Things are hard right now. I'll sort you out next month. You know, I wouldn't do you like this on purpose." He left with a forced smile and an empty pocket. Later, he received a message from his younger sister. "Ken, I'm at the clinic. They say I need to pay before they can run more tests. Can you help me, even if it's small?" He stared at the message for a long time. This was his little sister, the same girl whose school fees he helped with once, the same one who called him my hero when he brought her snacks as a child. He typed and erased so many replies. "I don't have. Give me time. I'm trying." In the end, he sent, "I'm coming." But how? With what? He walked out of the clinic a few hours later feeling smaller than ever. He managed to speak to the nurse, begged for more time, promised he would bring something. He left with his sister looking at him with worried eyes. She tried to hide behind a smile. He had always been the one who showed up for everyone, and now he couldn't even fully show up for her. As he was walking away from the clinic, his car gave up, jerking, coughing, and finally rolling to a halt at the side of the road. He sat there stunned. It felt like life itself was saying, "Enough," pretending, face reality. He tried to call people, a cousin he once bailed out of debt. Silent. A colleague whose rent he had helped with. "Bro, I'm not around right now. I'll call you back." No call came. A church friend he had once driven around for a week when their car broke down. "Seen." No reply. Now, hours later, he was still on that same stretch of pavement, wondering how a heart so full of love could feel this empty. As he sat there, he replayed years of his life in his mind like a movie. There were birthdays he paid for, hospital bills he contributed to, late-night calls he answered despite being tired, Advice he gave, time he offered, energy he spent. He had poured into everyone's cup and never stopped to check if his own was running dry. A car passed by, then another. Nobody slowed down. Nobody asked. The streetlights flickered on, turning the road into a river of dull yellow. For a moment, he wondered if he had made a mistake by being so available all his life. Was kindness a weakness? Was generosity foolish? His eyes burned, but the tears refused to fall. Just then, a soft voice broke through his thoughts. "Sir, are you all right?" He looked up and saw a boy, maybe 16, standing in front of him. School bag on his back, shirt slightly untucked, shoes worn out but properly laced. Ken forced a small smile. "I'm fine," he said. The boy tilted his head slightly, studying him. "You don't look fine," he replied gently. "You look like someone whose mind is carrying something heavy." There was no judgment in his voice, just quiet honesty. The boy sat down beside him on the pavement, leaving a respectful gap between them, and took a small sachet of water from his bag. "Here," he said, handing it to Ken. Ken hesitated. This boy didn't look like he had much to spare, but the sincerity in his eyes left no room for pride. "Thank you," Ken said, accepting it. The boy looked at him for a moment and then added, "My mom always says, do what you can, even if it's small. You never know whose life depends on it." Those words hit something deep inside him. Here was a stranger with almost nothing, offering more than all the people who had plenty. Ken drank the water slowly, feeling the coolness travel down his throat. For the first time that day, something inside him loosened. "Do you live around here?" the boy asked. "Yes," Ken nodded, "just a few streets away." "And your car?" "Stopped working." "Anybody coming to help you?" Ken's silence was the answer. The boy looked down for a second, then back up with a quiet understanding no child his age should have. "Sometimes," he said, "people only remember you when they need you. But that doesn't mean you should stop being good. Just be good carefully." Ken felt his chest tighten again, but not from pain, but from truth. He managed to smile. "What's your name?" he asked. "Tunde," the boy replied. "Tunde," Ken repeated, as if saving the name somewhere in his heart. "Thank you." They talked for a few minutes, not about big things, just simple things, school, life, dreams. When Tunde stood up to leave, he said, "Please get home safe, sir. Don't sit here too long. Nights can be cruel to those who already feel alone." When the boy walked away, he watched him disappear into the distance. It amazed him how a stranger with almost nothing gave him what people with plenty did not: time, attention, and sincere concern. That night, Ken eventually made it home with the help of a mechanic who passed by and agreed to tow his car for a small fee. He entered his room, sat on the edge of his bed, and finally let the tears fall. Not just for the hard day, but for all the years he had carried others without realizing he was slowly dropping himself. He thought of his sister at the clinic. He thought of the unanswered calls. He thought of Tunde's simple act of kindness. And slowly, a new kind of resolve formed in his heart. He decided he would change. He would still be kind, but no longer at the expense of his own life. He would still help, but not until he himself was empty. He would still give, but not to people who only remembered his name when they were in need. He picked up his phone and did something symbolic. He deleted a few contacts he knew were only there for what he could offer, not for who he was. Then, he opened a notepad and wrote 3 simple lines. Guard your heart. Guard your time. Guard your kindness. But something inside him shifted. He started thinking differently. Instead of always asking, how can I save everyone? He began asking, what can I build that will sustain me and still bless others?
Ken learned that not everyone you help will help you back. Not everyone you love will love you back. Not everyone you stand for will stand for you. But that doesn't mean you should stop being good. It just means you should stop breaking yourself to keep others whole. If this story reached you where you are, if you have ever felt used, ignored, or forgotten, remember this. You are allowed to be kind and still choose yourself. You are allowed to give and still set boundaries. You are allowed to love others without abandoning your own heart. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs this reminder today. And don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring real-life stories. This is Beyond Stories, where every story reminds us that as long as you are still breathing, your story is not over yet.